So, this is wild grape. It's sort of like a viney plant that likes to grow along forest and field edges. It likes sunlight, lots of sunlight, and you generally find it alongside staghorn sumac. Raspberry, as you can see, the stem is sort of purplish, which differs from blackberry, which tends to be more of a blackish brown. So, staghorn sumac. It's named that way for the way it looks. The stalks look like stag's horns. The berries are generally bright red and they have a sour taste. Some people use it to make lemonade, though you're supposed to strain it really well, as the hairs can irritate the lining of the stomach. I've never had any ill effects from it. I eat it all the time, but it's just a warning. We have a couple species of oak up here in New Hampshire, both red and white oak. White oak tends to be less common in my experience, with round lobed leaves. They also hold on to more of their leaves as the winter progresses. Red oak grows in a lot of the forests around here. Its leaves are pointed at the ends instead of rounded like the white oak, and it seems to need less sunlight than the white oak does to grow. Now, both species of oak produce edible acorns, though they do need to be processed before they can be eaten. This is done through either cold leaching or hot leaching. Hot leaching is just boiling them multiple times until the tannins are released. Cold leaching requires soaking the ground up acorns in water for extended periods of time, 2 or 3 weeks, and changing the water daily. Since the soils here are quite marshy, there's an abundance of ferns. Ostrich ferns in particular have edible fiddleheads, which once boiled can be eaten. One thing to look out for when you're walking around is animal tracks. Animals can tell you a lot about what's in the area and what's around. Deer, for example, like nice open fields, areas like that, lots of grass and stuff like that. When it comes to squirrels, that means there's probably a lot of seeds in the area if there's an abundance of squirrel tracks, whether that be oaks, maples, box elder, anything like that. It really tells you a lot about the area and what it has to offer, as well as a potential food source in the future. As you continue to walk through an area, just keep your eyes out. You never know what you might find. I found some birch bark, which I'm going to take home to use for making fires. Probably washed up a dead birch tree from who knows where. Could have been a couple miles downriver. Birches are quite useful because their bark's highly flammable even when wet. I often use it for making fires in the rain. This fuzzy fibrous material is cambium, which is the inner living layer under the bark of trees. It can be used for making rope, tinder, all sorts of different things. When it comes to using cambium for cordage, a few trees come to mind. Cedar, aspen, whether that be big tooth or quaking, and basswood. They have the best fibers when it comes to their cambium, whether you're using them for cordage or basketry. At least where I'm at, every place is different trees. While you're out and about, just keep your eyes open. You never know what you might find. Maybe you're looking for one thing in particular. Never hurts to have more knowledge of an area. You might find a bird's nest, kill site, some bones lying around. Never know what you can find that you can use. As I was going over to explore what looked to be a small stream let out, I happened upon the skull of an animal. I'm not quite sure what it might have been. I'm thinking it might have been a possum, but that's my best guess. I'm not sure what killed it. It didn't have any evidence of broken bones or feeding on by carnivores. So I took a few of the teeth to possibly sharpen at a later date for use as a bone awl sort of thing. Poking holes in hides, I figured it might be useful and easier to sharpen than a full-on bone. Though I did end up taking a few pieces I found to possibly use for bone needles and stuff like that. I will come back later to get more bones in the future if I need them, but you never know what you might find while you're out and walking about. The terrain in this area was quite difficult, lots of steep edges, broken, shattered ice that had been washed up, steep hills and cliffs to climb up to get to places you need to be. It's not always the most fun experience, but you just never know what's going to be over that next hill. I'm not sure what this channel's future will look like. I do have a few projects planned for the spring. As of right now, any information, ways to do things better, editing, etc. is more than welcome. If you have any video suggestions or things you want to see, please leave them in the comments. Thank you.